The Lakeland Calendar is sponsored by E.L. Mink Jewelers on Laurel Street in Brainerd. E.L. Mink Jewelers is your home for fine jewelry and jewelry repair in the heart of downtown Brainerd. The Brainerd Writers Alliance will meet at the Brainerd Public Library tomorrow beginning at 10 a.m. The third annual Kinship Partners Chocolate Walk will be held in downtown Nisswa tomorrow. The cost is $25 per person. For more information, call 218-454-8014. The Lakes Area Low Carb Conference will be held tomorrow from 9 to 4 at the Pequot Lakes Baptist Church's Trailside Center. The cost is $16. International performer David Greenberg will perform at Bemidji State University's Thompson Recital Hall on Sunday beginning at 3. The cost is $10 for adults and $5 for kids. Call 218-444-5606 for more information. The Value of Value in Watercolor will be held tomorrow from 1 to 3 at the McCroskey Arts Center in Grand Rapids. Call 218-326-2697 for more information.
Coming up on Austin City Limits.
Saturday night at 11 on Lakeland Prime.
On Cool the Midwife.
We're going to have to report what happened.
It's the sort of thing that makes your blood run cold.
There's a new patient for the district round.
They said that the treatment hadn't worked.
Reggie's not himself. It's normally so lovely when he's at home.
Sunday night at 7 on Lakeland Prime.
A gruesome discovery.
This much of solid human bone.
Are these the remains of an epic Viking invasion?
This is how you conquer England.
What will archaeologists uncover?
This is what we're looking for.
Lost Viking Army on Nova.
The Mille Lacs Band of Ojibwe is pleased to be a sponsor of Lakeland News on Lakeland Public Television. You can learn more about the Mille Lacs Band of Ojibwe on the web at millacsojibwe.org. Watch In Business on Lakeland News. In Business is sponsored by Breen and Person, specializing in real estate, estate planning, business and corporate law, guardian and conservatorships, and probate administration. BreenandPerson.com. Programming on Lakeland PBS is brought to you in part by First National Bank North, your banking, insurance, and investments partner. Locations in Walker, Hackensack, Akeley, Longville, Bacchus, Reamer, Pequot Lakes, Cross Lake, and Baxter. Cabinet Corner, now one of northern Minnesota's largest flooring centers, featuring award-winning designers and professional installers. More info on beautifying your floors at cabinetcorners.com. And the members of Lakeland PBS. Thank you.
Welcome to Lakeland PBS On Call. My name is Bill Sanford and I manage Lakeland PBS, and with me here this evening I have Jeff Hanks, our programming and production manager, and Dennis Wyman, our news director. And what we're doing here tonight is we're taking calls from folks like you. Any kind of questions you have about Lakeland PBS, about our programming, about receiving us over the air, about our news, any of our local programs, we're happy to answer those questions for you this evening. So you can call the station at 800-292-0922 and leave your question, and they will get it to us, and we will do our best to answer it here this evening. So we did this about a month ago and had a lot of folks, a lot of participation, and got through some of the questions, and we actually had to call some folks back that we didn't get to everyone. So we're looking forward to hearing from your question, and you know, to help get things started, we did have a couple questions come in before the program. So I'm going to throw one out to Jeff Hanks here. I saw information about your Community Advisory Council meetings. What does the CAC do, and can I get involved?
Yeah, sure. Good question. The CAC, or Community Advisory Council, we're as PBS stations, we're required to have these groups, advisory councils, and the basic purpose of those is to act as a sounding board between the public, our viewing public, and the station. It allows average members of the public who are fans of public media and Lakeland PBS a chance to interact with the station management and let us know how we're serving the public. It's really not a whole lot of a time commitment. The CAC, or Community Advisory Council, meets bi-monthly. It's usually, I believe, the third Thursday of the month, every other month, and meet for an hour, hour and a half. And we have an agenda. I work with the chairperson on that group and put together an agenda just to talk about the programming, basically. And we can learn about how the programming is fitting in with your community, what kind of local productions you want to see more of or want to see less of, how the national productions that PBS is putting out, how they're being received in the communities. So we're always looking for members. If anyone's interested in learning more about the Community Advisory Council, please, just give me a call here at the station. You can call the number on your screen anytime during the work week. I'd be happy to tell you more details and when the next meeting is. These meetings are open to the public, and again, we're always looking for folks to serve on that. It's really very interesting, and if you're a fan of public media, it's a great way to get involved.
Thanks a lot, Jeff. Dennis, we've got a question for you here, and I think this seems to be a pretty popular question. This came up last time we did an on-call too. How do you find your story ideas for Lakeland News?
Good question. We develop story ideas from a variety of sources. Our reporters, their job is to get to know their beats. Each reporter has a beat that they take care of, and they get to know people within those beats. For instance, city council, school board, topics like that. And they get to know people within those beats, and they generate stories from there. We also get tips from viewers, and we welcome tips at news@lptv.org. Anytime you have something that you think is newsworthy, send it to us. Let us know, and we decide then how it fits into what we're doing and if we can get there. Sometimes there's great stories out there, and we just don't have the resources to get to everywhere in one day. So we welcome tips from the public. We also, of course, react to spot news. Yesterday we had a story in Bemidji where we had a tip about a water main break and sewage coming up through some houses, in the basements of some houses in that area. So we were able to get out there on that tip and provide a story for the News at 10 last night. So it's really a variety of ways that the stories come in, but I really want to encourage anybody at home who is watching and has any story idea from their community to let us know, because if we don't know about it, we can't even consider it. So please let us know.
And how would they do that, Dennis?
Well, there's that email address, news@lptv.org. You can also call us at the station. The direct newsroom number is 218-751-0085. And you can also reach us on Facebook or on Twitter. Any of those avenues would be great.
Thank you, Dennis. Along those same lines, we had another question come in here about Lakeland News. Why doesn't Lakeland News cover more events outside of Bemidji and Brainerd?
Okay, it's a matter of resources is what that's about. We have a huge viewing area, basically from Canada all the way down to Little Falls, all the way out to Wadena, Foston on the west side, Grand Rapids, Aiken on the east side. And we have a reporter staff of two reporters in Bemidji, 2 reporters in Brainerd. Basically, we get to the stories that we can get to every day, depending on the importance of the stories and also what we have for staff that day. People are on vacation, people are sick. That brings our total number of resources down as well. We do, whenever we find a good story outside of Bemidji or Brainerd, we try to get to those stories because those are we value those communities, and we want to highlight things happening in those communities. This week, for instance, we were in Walker. The city of Walker is named a bike-friendly community, and they had a big event for that. We knew about that, and we were down there for that, and we were able to provide a story about that. So if you'd like more stories from your community, again, let us know about it. We will try our best to get there. Again, our staff is quite small. We're a small station with a small staff, but we do the best we can, and we actually have some interns this summer too that we might be able to get involved with providing some content as well. So hope that answered your question.
All right, good job, Dennis. I'll take one here. My cable company only carries your main channel. I check your schedule on the website often and wish I could watch programs on your other channels. Is there a reason that they aren't carrying all of your channels? Well, most of the cable companies that carry us do carry all of our channels. I think Paul Bunyan Communications, Charter, Midco, CTC, all of those cable providers do carry all of our channels. I think Showbird Cable 2 up north carries most of our channels. I think the exception is Arvig. I think they may only carry our main channel. I'm not 100% sure. That might be the company that you're calling about, but there's no restriction on our part. We would love the cable operators to carry everything we have, and we broadcast 6 different channels. If you're not aware of that, if you go to our website at lptv.org, you can look at our schedule and see what we have on all 6 different channels, and there's a lot of good content. If you enjoy typical PBS programming and you're at home during the day and want to be able to watch, if you watch our main channel, all you're going to get is kids programming. Maybe you're not into Sesame Street. You can watch primetime type programs on our channel called Lakeland Plus. We also have a channel called Create that has how-to type programs. So we have a lot of offerings, and I encourage you to check out our website at lptv.org and see what we have to offer. And if you're on cable and your cable company doesn't carry all those channels, reach out to them and let them know that you really want them to carry it. And let them know that you checked with Lakeland, and there's no fee for the cable company to carry these. They just need to add them. So we'd appreciate you doing that. We'd appreciate your help. So thank you. Let's see what else we got here, guys. Jeff, here's one for you. My kids like watching Lakeland PBS. Are there any new kids programs coming up, and will the schedule change?
Yeah, interesting question. Yeah, a lot of the folks at home watching right now may not typically be accustomed to watching the children's programming throughout the day, but of course, PBS and Lakeland PBS is known for having a lot of quality children's program. Sesame Street, that sort of thing. Curious George, and certainly there's always. Not always, but it seems like about once a year, every 8 months or so, PBS is trying to push out a new kids series. And I know that there is one coming up this summer, I believe mid-July. It's called Molly of Denali. It's kind of, if you think of Wild Kratts along those lines for that age group and that kind of general topic, a lot of adventure and science learning within that series. That starts mid-July. And PBS, what we do is we basically take the PBS schedule that is fed to us for the kids programming, and we can adjust that a little bit to fit our needs around our schedule, but we take the PBS kids programming lineup that they're providing to us, and they shuffle that around occasionally, so there will be some small changes coming mid-summer with that new series taking place. But nothing really drastic. All the main programs, Curious George, Sesame Street, are all going to stay in their same time slots roughly. And I know there's one new series coming out this fall, later in the fall, like in November. They haven't really released much about that yet, but so there are some new exciting kids programming coming out as well.
All right, sounds good. We've got another one here that I'll take. I just bought a Roku and I love it, and I can watch some PBS content via Passport. Is there a way that I can watch your channel live with my Roku? Currently, there is not a way to watch the channel live with a Roku. It's an issue of program rights. PBS is working hard to clear the rights for all of the national content, but they're not there yet. So we can't stream our channel over the internet. But that's something that's coming, and we're hoping to be able to do that relatively soon. If you want to watch Lakeland News live, we are streaming that. Since that is our own program, we can do that. And you can go to our YouTube channel. If you go to YouTube online and search for Lakeland PBS, you can find our YouTube channel and watch our Lakeland News live every night. Also, we're on Facebook as well, on our Lakeland News Facebook page. So 2 ways that you can watch at least our local news live, but as far as the national PBS content, right now we can't stream our entire channel just because of program rights. So, but again, PBS is working on that, and we hope to be able to do that before too long. It seems to be taking a while, but there is progress being made. So thanks for that great question. Let's see here, Jeff, I think we got one for you. Okay. I switched to DirecTV from Paul Bunyan. I get the main channel, but I no longer get FNX. Why don't I get it?
Okay, well, that's a fairly common question. I guess we get, and maybe you could comment a little bit on that too. But we feed DirecTV and Dish Network with only our main channel at this point. And that's our Lakeland Prime. So if you were previously on a cable system like Paul Bunyan or Midco, one of those that carried all of our channels across the lineup, and you switch to DirecTV or Dish Network, you're only going to have access to our main channel, Lakeland Prime, and that's channel 22 on both of those services. We wish we could provide DirecTV and Dish Network to reach more viewers across the state, but right now that's really the only channel that those satellite companies are taking is just our main channel at this point. So maybe you'd have a little more insight on that.
Sure. Yeah, DirecTV is required to carry us by law, and they do that, but they're only required to carry our main channel. So even if we delivered all of our channels to them, they're not interested in carrying them. Honestly, they'd rather carry movie channels and things that they can do pay-per-view, and they've got somewhat limited bandwidth on the satellite. And when you think about all the stations across the entire country, carrying all those would eat up a lot of their channels and really reduce their potential revenues for pay-per-view and those kinds of things, and maybe make their service, basically not profitable, not able to continue. So that's the stance that they've taken, is they only carry the main channels. So that's what's going on with that. Let's see, we've got some more stuff here. Let me look. Oh, here's one for Dennis. Dennis, I've watched Lakeland News for many years and enjoy the job that you do, and I'm curious about your background. How long have you been doing Lakeland News, and where did you come from?
Okay.
You got a fan.
Yeah, well, that's always a good thing. That's always a good thing. Thanks for the question. I am originally from Stillwater, I guess I should say. My family's from Milwaukee originally, and then graduated from Stillwater High School. We moved there when I was in 4th grade. Went to Bemidji State University, graduated from there. I had a job in Minot, North Dakota at the CBS station there for 3 years. Then went to Fargo, North Dakota for KTHI then it turned into KVLY while I was there. And I was there for 5 years, and then this opportunity started up in 1998 when they had an opportunity for a news director to come in, start this newscast from scratch. And 20 years later, that's where I'm at. I'm still here. And I really enjoy it here. That's one of the key reasons I've been here. Nothing against the other TV stations I've been at. I had great experiences there too. But we have something really special going on here at Lakeland PBS, and I'm real proud to be a part of it. And our family's made this home, and we really enjoy ourselves, and we've had a great time bringing the news to you for these last 20 years. And if I wanted to clarify one more thing from the earlier question we had about why we cover more from Bemidji and Brainerd rather than outside those two cities. I don't know if I explained that as well as I could. Being our resources are located in Bemidji and Brainerd, it's a lot easier for us to get to stories within those communities. To get to, say, Grand Rapids is a great example. Another big community, has a lot of stories going on there, and we go out there and cover stories. We just covered the groundbreaking for 2 new elementary schools out there recently. But for instance, last night we had a tip about the water main break in Bemidji and the sewage backup in some homes. If we had that same tip for Grand Rapids, by the time we drove the hour and a half to get out there, tried to get the video, tried to get the story done, tried to get back, it's just logistically very difficult to get to some of those stories. So we do our best to get it outside of our immediate Bemidji, Brainerd areas we can, but the logistics and the staff size and the travel time really plays into that.
Okay. Jeff, I got a question for you. I watch Lakeland PBS on DirecTV, and I also am able to get Twin Cities PBS, and I notice your schedules are different. How do you pick your programs for your schedule, as opposed to what they get on or put on TPT?
Okay. Well, one thing to keep in mind is, here in Minnesota, Each PBS station, Lakeland PBS, Twin Cities PBS, TPT, WDC in Duluth, and the others, we're all independent community licensees. So yes, we are PBS member stations, and we do have what's called common carriage across the prime time during most weeknights. That's basically, since we're a member station, we agree as part of our contract with PBS to carry the majority of that programming at roughly the same time, just to have some continuity and consistency across the PBS system. So you do see that. But apart from that, again, we are independent, and we do try and tailor our schedules to fit the needs of our community. It really is basically what it is. Again, we listen to our viewers, the feedback, we listen to our community advisory councils, and if there are certain programs that work better for this region, this area, if there's certain local productions that fit in during a better time that you might not see down TPT or vice versa, that's basically the reason. Each PBS station is unique in that the programming schedule comes from the grassroots, comes from the bottom up, basically, instead of versus like a lot of the commercial stations where all the programming decisions come from the top down. That's what's really neat about PBS, is it comes from the community itself, and the local scheduling decisions are made here. So it's just a good example is our Lakeland News at 10. There's not many PBS stations that are doing a live newscast across the weeknights, and I really don't like to bump that around too much as far as the time. Bump it back to 10:30 or 11 o'clock. So a lot of times, other PBS stations like TPT will be carrying an hour and a half or a 2-hour show starting at 9 going until past 10 o'clock. We typically won't air a lot of those because that'll push our Lakeland News back quite often. We don't want to do that too much because we put so much resources and bandwidth within the station into that newscast. That's just one example. But again, we're independent, and we make the schedule fit for our local communities.
All right. Thank you, Jeff. Just want to remind folks that we're here on call tonight at Lakeland PBS, and we're taking questions from our viewers. Anything related to Lakeland PBS, if you have questions about our schedule, about the news, about any of the programs that we air, we'd be happy to answer them. About reception, you're having problems receiving us or wondering what you might need for an antenna, whatever, give us a call and we'll take on those questions. Dennis, I've got another question for you related to the news. 10 o'clock is pretty late for me. Have you ever considered having the newscast at 9 rather than 10?
Yes, and Bill knows we've looked at a lot of different things. We've looked at a 6 o'clock newscast. We've looked at a 6:30 newscast. We found 10 o'clock it meets the most needs of our viewers as far as covering the local sports scene, giving you the latest weather update, and having time to bring back the stories from evening meetings, evening story shoots. 9 o'clock, I understand. I know when I'm off of work now, by the time 10 rolls around, a lot of nights, it's getting pretty late for me as well. And the nice thing is we do have, the show is rerun in the morning. It reruns at 5:30. It also reruns at 6:30. Reruns at 5:30 and 6:30, right?
Yep, actually it's 5:30, and 6:30.
Okay, 5:30, and 6:30. I'm never up that early, so I don't know. But it's a great opportunity for people to have the different hours than the night shift people do to watch those newscasts. But it is something we've considered. Certainly, if we were a much bigger station, we could do a 9 and a 10 like some stations do. But we just tried to stay within our means here. We have a very small staff, very small budget, and we do the best we can just to serve the local scene the best we can. And we found 10 o'clock is the best time for that for most people.
Yeah, and I'll just add to that too, as the manager and the one that pays the bills, I can tell you that, our total news budget is likely less than one of the high-profile anchors makes in the Twin Cities, and that's for all the staff and supplies and travel and everything else. So, we do the newscast on a shoestring, and I think for the money that we invest in it, we do a great job, and we appreciate the support that we get from folks around the region and from businesses, but we're in a very rural area, and we just can't generate the kind of revenues that a Twin Cities newscast can. So we're limited on what we can do. But I think Dennis and the crew do a great job, and we appreciate the good things that they do. I'm just going to remind folks again that, we're here on call this evening answering your questions about Lakeland PBS. Call the number on the screen, 800-292-0922, and they will forward the question to us, and we will be happy to take a shot at it. We have a question here. What about the program preference poll? When will that go out again, and how do I get it?
Okay, I guess I'll take that. I typically put that together. And as a matter of fact, we're going to be putting that together.
Maybe what is it, Jeff?
Yeah, that's a very good question. Yeah, the program preference poll. We've been doing that for quite some time. It's a member benefit, really, is what it is. We've done it as a paper poll that goes out, mailed out directly to our members over the years. Now we do it as available online as well to make it easier to tabulate and bring back. But it's an opportunity for our members to let us know their programming preferences. Let us know what they want to see more of or want to see less of. We've gotten pretty specific with that in the past as far as down to the genres, whether it's how-to or news and public affairs, dramas. We know people can write in their favorites, series and programs. They can rank their favorite series and programs, those type of things. So it's really a unique opportunity for our members to let us know directly what they want to see in regards to programming here on Lakeland PBS. And again, we do that yearly, and we're going to be putting together the program preference poll for 2019 here within the next month. And by midsummer, we're going to be making that available to our members, both direct mail and online. And that'll be available, and I hope everyone that gets it, as far as members, fills that out and gets it back to us. It's a great opportunity to let your voice be heard.
All right, thanks, Jeff. We've got another one for you. Rob called in, and first he says, thanks for having this on. Enjoy learning more about LPTV. We're happy to do it, Rob. I have an idea to produce a local show. Would you entertain that idea, and how does that work? And he said he likes my Elmo tie, too.
Good taste, Rob. Yeah, of course. Very good question. We've taken many local independent producers' submissions over the years. We get the majority of our programming through PBS or a couple other programming services, but we're happy to work with local independent producers and to develop some of their ideas. And if it's suitable for air here on Lakeland PBS, kind of fits within our appropriate guidelines, we're more than happy to take a look at that. If it's something that's already been produced and it's relevant to our region, something that would be of interest to our viewers, we're certainly, happy to take a look at that. If it's just a kernel of an idea, we're certainly happy to discuss the possibilities. Maybe it's something we could partner on. Maybe if it has value for both the producer and the viewers in the station, we do have some capabilities where maybe we could help partner if it's the right situation. So absolutely, feel free to give me a call at the station anytime, during the Monday through Friday, and I'll be happy to talk it through, and we'll explore the possibilities. Absolutely.
All right. Well, thanks, Jeff. We're getting a little short of time. I think we've got time for at least one more question. Had a question about British comedies. Can you air more British comedies? We've never heard that before, have we, Jeff?
I've probably heard that question more than most anything. Really, it boils down to dollars. Most British comedies right now, very popular, but they're also syndicated series, which mean they're an acquisition series or acquisition library that we have to pay extra for. We pay a licensing fee for all our PBS programming and our other programming services that we utilize. We pay a fee for those, but most of the British comedy series are acquisition syndicated series above and beyond that. Right now, for instance, we're carrying Doc Martin because we had so many people asking for that series. Even that, quite expensive. Basically there's a 2-year license fee for those, in general 2 to 4 years. And being a small market, our acquisition budget for things like that is smaller than, say, TPT or even Duluth. They might have a much bigger acquisition budget to pay for more series. We try and keep at least 1 or 2 popular series in our broadcast. But let us know, let us know what your favorites are, what you'd like to see coming up, and we'll certainly try and make that next purchase for the next go-around.
All right. Well, I think we're probably out of time, but we want to thank folks for tuning in and sending in your questions. And, you can keep sending in questions. We'd be happy to answer them if you email them to oncall@lptv.org. We will get back to you and answer your question. Or you can call us at that 800 number anytime during business hours as well and talk to myself or Jeff or Dennis. But just want to thank you for tuning in to On Call, and we will likely do this again in the near future and look forward to answering more questions down the road. Thank you.
Good job, Glenn.
Coming up tonight on Lakeland PBS. The Lakeland Calendar is sponsored by E.L. Mink Jewelers on Laurel Street in Brainerd. E.L. Mink Jewelers is your home for fine jewelry and jewelry repair in the heart of downtown Brainerd. The Brainerd Writers Alliance will meet at the Brainerd Public Library tomorrow.